$1 million or a St Kilda three-peat? I'll be answering all that and more, as today we'll be going through your would you rathers in today's video. I asked you guys on Instagram a few days ago to give me some of the best would you rathers so I can go through them and pick which ones I prefer. 3 years ago, I think I did this exact same video, so I thought it's a good time to come back as the footy season's approaching very soon. A lot of people did answer them on Instagram. If you want to be a part of more of these videos, again, just follow my Instagram up on screen. Let's start off with the question in the title and the thumbnail. I mean, what would I rather, $1 million or the Saints to win a three-peat? Now, this is an interesting one because if I knew that the three-peat was happening already, then maybe I'd go the $1 million because it just wouldn't feel, you know, the same. If a reaction to the wins and all that won't feel as special and won't be as genuine. So I'll take the $1 million if it was that, and I probably still would take the $1 million anyway. I know how good a three-peat would be for just the sake of the club and content and all that, but it's $1 million. So look, I'm probably just going to take the $1 million. And for those who haven't already figured this out by now, I do go for St Kilda, so a lot of these questions are going to be revolving around the Saints and whether or not premierships and all that come into hand. Next up, we got one from E-Lodge, pretty strange one. For $100,000 bet, would I bet on Lynch taking set shot from 50 metres out and missing, or West Coast to win 5 more games? I'd probably say the West Coast to win 5 more games. Do I think it'll happen? Probably not, but there's a decent chance that it could. You never know, they might improve a little bit. Would I rather verse Adelaide or Port Adelaide at the Adelaide Oval? Now, stepping former Saints fan, so we play worse against the Power at the Adelaide Oval, and they never tear us apart as well. It's just so much more ominous, to be honest with you, so I'd probably rather play the Crows there, because the Saints fare a little bit better against the Crows. Would I rather 10 30-year-old players on my team and I finish high on the ladder, or 10 18-year-olds and you finish low? Well, that's the thing is, right, you never really know the quality of the players, right? It could be 10 30-year-old players such as the Cats and you can finish high and win the flag, or it could be 10 18-year-olds who are all draft flops, which we've seen, you know, from the Ds and other clubs in the past. So look, I'm going to go the 30-year-olds and take the punt that they're good enough to win the flag, but they could all be spuds that you never know, but I'm going to take the first one. Blake Brown, this is tough actually. Not upload or stream for the rest of the year and Saints win the flag, or upload and Saints don't win the flag. I don't think I could stomach at all the Saints winning a flag without making a single bit of content on it. I don't know if I could do it. I almost feel like I can't really celebrate in a way because I've been doing this for so long, documenting the Saints' journey for all this time. I'd probably go the second one because hopefully eventually at one stage St Kilda do win a flag. It's not telling me that the Saints will never win a flag, so probably the second one. I do not want to stop making content. Would I rather as a player win a Brownlow or a flag and a Norm Smith? Brownlow, the individual accolade, it's good and all that, but I feel like you're adding along the Norm Smith, its own individual accolade, and everyone plays for premierships, so the second one for mine. What about this? A Brownlow in the first year or a flag in the last year? Again, if you win a Brownlow in the first year, you're set up for probably a career where you're probably going to end up wearing a flag, to be honest with you, and a flag in the last year would be memorable. It doesn't happen to many players. I can think of maybe Selwood and Crawford of players that have done that in the past, but I think I'll go the first one. I think you're almost guaranteed to honestly end up winning a flag at some stage if that's, you know, the start of your career. Ethan Crouch, what do I prefer more, Collingwood or Carlton all time? I think it's a bit of an easy one. I do prefer the Blues. I'm not as big of a fan of the Blues as of late, but I still prefer the Blues over the Pies. I have for quite some time. I like this one from Shane Singh. Attend a round of footy in the Caribbean or Europe? This one is probably going to require a little bit of thinking to come up with an answer here, but I'd say the Caribbean. I mean, it's probably not going to be ideal conditions for a footy game because of the hot and the humidity and all that, but how sick would it be going on a Caribbean holiday for a week? Yes, Europe will be cool as well, but just the environment, the atmosphere, the local, you know, the local grand vibes near the beach or something like that would be so cool. Imagine Gatherand in the Caribbean. Now, speaking of Gatherand, would I prefer Gatherand to happen in New South Wales or Western Australia? Overall, I'm happy with it being in Adelaide, but if I had to pick one, I'm going to say New South Wales, not because of the fact that they're big on footy. It's more the fact that it will help grow the game a little bit more. And it'll just be a lot easier for people to get to from a lot of the, you know, country, because Western Australia, it's a 4-hour trip to get there on a plane. It's really not cheap at all. Just think about how much tickets will go up for them. Honestly, Sydney and New South Wales probably works better, to be completely honest. Go to HQ, would I rather be a Cats supporter or a Pies supporter? Damn, it's a difficult one. Probably Pies. I can go to more games. Biggest club in the league, and right now they're doing really well, even though I don't like the Pies, but I also don't like the Cats. I'd rather go to every single game in Victoria or never go to the footy again. Man, that would be a difficult challenge to do it this year. It's possible, but if it's only for this year, I'd go the first one. If it's for the rest of my life, there's not a guarantee in hell that that'll happen. So I must just never have to go to the footy again. That would suck, wouldn't it? This is a good one. The grand final to be hosted at the MCG every year, which is what we're seeing right now, or the grand final to be hosted at the team's ground that finished higher that season. Now, that's what they do in a lot of other leagues around Australia, like the BBL, the A-League. Well, I mean, at least for a certain period of time. Look, I'm Vic Bice. They've had the MCG tradition for that long, and when they did have games at Optus and all that and the Gabba, the overall feel, it just wasn't the same for a grand final. You want want as many people packed out as possible. And it just wouldn't feel the same if the Giants made it and you know, we had a bloody grand final at Giants Stadium in front of 22k. B. Jenko, would I rather watch a game of footy with Kelly Underwood commentating or the game muted? Yeah, look, Underwood's not a great commentator. We all know that. Probably the game muted, to be honest with you. Like, it's hard with some of the calls she makes, not gonna lie.
Frederick with the speed. Can he trap it? McPherson's there. Oh, he's kicked it. A goal.
Nah, fuck this. Cosmate asks if I'd rather take mark or would I rather take goal of the year? Pretty good question. I guess it would depend on how I kick the goal or take the mark, but I reckon, to be honest with you, taking mark of the year would be the better of the two, because I just feel like it's more difficult to take an absolute classic grab than it would be to kick a really good goal in a game, particularly considering goals can be fluky. You can't really fluke mark of the year, and it's much more skillful going up for the big pack mark. Would I rather miss a goal after the sign directly in front or tear an ACL in my first game of a season of that year? Look, to be honest with you, I'd still probably go missing a goal off the sign directly in front, because I would never want an ACL injury. That would just be devastating. I don't know what it's like to get one, but that's what, 1 year on the sidelines? Yes, it'd be the most embarrassing moment of your career doing missing a goal from directly in front, but hey, you can play next week. You'll recover from it. You might not be able to recover from that ACL, who knows? This one is an interesting one from Ollie Docky saying, never attend an AFL game again or go to every single game except for a Saints game. People are just wanting to abuse me here with these St Kilda questions. Damn, that'd be torture. Look, I'd still probably pick the second one. I'd still would prefer to go to the footy, but yeah, not being able to go to a Saints game, be difficult to explain why. It'd also make me feel really, really bad about being left out on the sideline. Oliver Plunkett, spend a year in prison or a Pies three-peat. Look, as bad as it would be, honestly, witnessing a Pies three-peat, we've seen him already win one this year, so it could finish in 2026. I'd rather do that than spend a year in prison. Let's be real. Rolls Macca, this is a good one. Would I rather Max King win the next 3 Colemans or Steele wins the Brownlow in 2024? It'd probably be better for us if we had a more consistent Max King kicking goals for 3 years. So I'd say the first one, although if Steele wins the Brownlow in 2024, the Saints are making top 4. I'll just tell you that right now. Another one involving the Saints, King Dreamer. Would I prefer the Saints win a flag or get 100k subscribers this season? Again, you know, I don't think the Saints are winning the flag this season, so it wouldn't, you know, be the worst case if, you know, instead of it sacrificing a Saints flag, I'll take the 100k subs, and then I'll wait a year or two for the Saints to actually win a flag with a bigger audience, bigger channel size, more people have the eyes on me watching my team win a flag. I think it's a win-win, so I'm going the second one. Saints Premiership or a decent AFL video game? Damn, I'd love a great AFL game for the sake of the channel and just the sake of the community. Yeah, I'm taking the Saints Premiership over that one. Friggin' hell, these St Kilda ones keep on coming. The Saints to lose a prelim by a point or to lose by over 100 in the granny this year in 2024. I'm taking the first one. Yes, it's more heartbreaking. I reckon we can hold our heads higher if we lose in the prelim by a point than if you lose by over 100 in a granny. Teams can't recover after losing by that much in a granny, and it'd be so much more embarrassing, and it'd make the off-season that much tougher. So the first one, 100%. Would I rather the Saints score over 200 points or keep an opposition goalless? Damn, that's a good question, actually. Do I prefer attack or defense? I would prefer the first one, I reckon, because it's more entertaining watching my team, you know, score more points and all that. And 200, I mean, we saw Sydney do it last year, but I don't know, actually, which one's rarer, but I still prefer the first one. Sarah asked, would I rather be a shit team or a good team that everyone hates? A good team that everyone hates. You'd rather be hated than have, you know, sides and people feel sorry for. So the second one, I don't want to be a crap team anymore. I've seen it too long as a Saints fan. Do I prefer to sit level 1 to view a footy game or sit level 3 or 4 to watch a footy game? Adam Bateman, I'd rather be closer to the action, to be honest with you, so I'm going level 1 any day of the week. AFL Code HQ, I'll add this to the video. Would I rather be an AFL scorer like Sporting Lou or an AFL superstar? Well, I don't even know what it's like to be an AFL scorer, to be honest with you, so I'm going AFL superstar. I don't know what sort of a question that is, mate. We all know Tassie will be the 19th AFL team, but Zay asked, would I prefer to the 20th team to be in the SA, WA, ACT, or the NT? Look, I'm going the Northern Territory. I don't think SA, WA can afford to have a third team. It just sort of ruined the other 2 clubs in that state. And I think NT deserve a side, although it'll be difficult with the stadium played it and all that stuff. But I'd like to see Northern Territory have a side because of all the plays they can develop out of the Northern Territory. Streak Nude on Grand Final, I have 10 of St Kilda's top 10 players traded the year after. We would be screwed if that occurred for the Saints, but I'm not streaking Nude on Grand Final day. I'm not going to risk the chance of never being able to get another game of the G ever again. A Toby Green kick in the face or a Barry Hall punch to the face? Toby Green kick to the face, because the force that Toby Green, at least to Luke Delahouse in that famous incident, was nowhere near as bad as a Barry Hall punch to the face. You could never recover from a punch to the face that badly. Like, what he did to Staker was terrible. What about this one? Prime Buddy to boot a ball as hard as he can in your chest, or a full-strength Mumford tackle. Far out. That's a more difficult one, because what repercussions would be worse? I'd probably say the Mumford tackle, because, you know, you never know with the tackling these days. You could risk head injury, and even then, he could realistically break bones if he goes full strength. Whereas I don't think bones will be broken. Well, maybe they will actually if Buddy decides to go, F it, you're down. Whatever I pick, it would make for a good video, wouldn't it? But I'd probably say Prime Buddy just booting a ball as hard as he can in my chest. Because, I mean, if it's my balls, I definitely wouldn't be picking that one. But if it's my chest, I think I can survive. Some are asking if I'd rather support a team that makes finals every year but doesn't make a grand final, or a side who doesn't make finals altogether. I'd rather the first one, I'd say. Yes, it's sort of like Geelong in a way, you know, all those, you know, years in prelims and no grand final. I'd still rather be a semi-successful club and actually competing for finals. It would be really difficult to watch us not make it, than a side that just never wins. And like in last year's video as well, we got quite a few people putting in their play comparisons, but to keep the pace up of the video and not make it so boring, again, in like last edition's video, we're going to try and answer as many as we can in under a minute. Bobby Hill, Lockie Schultz, damn, I just got to pick one because I got a minute. I think Schultz is the better play, even though Hill might be more clutch. Andrews or Wiedering, oh, they're tough. I think Andrews is slightly bit better, so I'll go Andrews. Zach Merritt or Errol Goulden. I'm going right now Errol Goulden, but Zach Merritt's still a gun. Prime Dusty or Prime Buddy? Now, that's going to make me think. I'd still probably say Prime Buddy just because of how much of a power forward he was. I think he was just a little bit better than Dusty. Wines or Ashcroft? I think Ashcroft will be a better player. So, I mean, right now, Wines, but I'd pick Ashcroft in the long run. Prime Danger or Prime Fife? Yeah, Fife won a couple Brownlows, so we're going to go Fife. Harley Reid or Nick Dacos? Nick Dacos right now, we don't really know how good Harley Reid's going to be, so we'll go him. Darcy Parish or Sam Walsh? I'm going to go Sam Walsh. Nick Dacos or Marcus Bontempelli for the future? I'm going to go Nick Dacos, although right now I still think Bond's slightly better. 2015 Fife or 2013 Ablett? We're going to go 2013 Ablett. Nick Martin or Josh Dacos? We're going to go Josh Dacos. Prime Pennells or Joel Selwood? Oh, then that's the timer. I tried to go through as many as I could. Freaking hell, that's probably the toughest one so far. Prime Selwood, just. Who do I think is a more clutch player? Jamie Elliott or Blake Acres? Oh, good question. I'm still going to go Jamie Elliott. I mean, obviously the goal after scoring against Essendon, the game against Carlton, the game against Port Adelaide. He does it every single time. Whereas Acres, we only really saw it in the final series, so I'm going the first one. Would I rather be the worst player in the best team or captain of the worst team? I'd rather be the captain of the worst team because at least I have something to hold my head high on. I'd rather have a better career at a bad team than a crap career at a good team. And if I'm the worst player at the best team, I'm not getting a game. And the last response, would you rather, we've got is from Abby McKinnon. And she asked, would I rather my team win the grand final but then get kicked out of the AFL forever, or be an average side forever, which is essentially what I've seen for the Saints. I don't know. I guess it would be a fairy tale way to end if the Saints were to win a flag. So maybe the first one, but if they were to win the flag and never play again in the AFL, I don't know who the hell I'd support if I even would follow footy again, to be honest with you. That wraps things up. I hope I got to as many people that submitted as possible, but if I didn't get to you, it's probably because either it wasn't good enough, it might not have been very appropriate, or it might have been really crap like a few that I'm just going to put up on screen. So if you guys also want to participate in more of these videos that I might potentially do before the start of the season again, remember, follow my Instagram. We're close to 5k followers, so if we can get to 5k followers soon, that would be good. If you're new to the channel as well and you enjoyed it, feel free to subscribe as the footy season's approaching us very quickly. And until then though, we'll see you soon in my next video. Have a good one.